What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be discussing how I manage my health while also living my life, because I'm big on this not consuming you, and a healthy, happy lifestyle is often what yields you that athletic, lean, dream physique that you're looking for. And I had to learn that the hard way because I've gone about this multiple different ways, and I finally found the way that doesn't lead to burnout, and it ultimately became a whole transformation. So I'm going to run you through how I maintain my physique and whatever I'm training for while also living life to the fullest. A lot of it has to do with mindset because this can drain you and ultimately burn you out if you let it. So not only are we building stronger bodies, but also stronger minds. And that's something that I had to learn. Like I said, I've been doing this for a while, so it is something that I had to learn. And when you don't work on the mindset part, you'll never get the results that you're looking for. It will never be enough. You will always feel burnt out. You'll always feel like you're not doing enough. And then that's what leads to not being able to live life and then everything consuming you. And so that's what I want to get into in this video and run you through my take on every single thing, how I go about it when I face these challenges that can derail you if you let them. And I'll also talk about things that I do every single day at the end, like my dailies. That's what's in quotations there at the bottom. I call them dailies or non-negotiables that I do every single day to move the needle or make sure that I win the day both physically and mentally. I'm basically going to break down my entire blueprint of my life and how I live it to ensure that I'm not only happy and healthy, but I also look my best, feel the most confident in myself, and, all those kinds of things, because that's ultimately what yields that happy mindset. So the first thing we'll discuss is mindset. We get caught up a lot. We experience a lot of stress. We can never feel like we're enough, and that can consume you. You'll never do enough cardio. You'll never do enough training. You'll never eat enough of a deficit. That is coming from your insecurity. And I know that for a fact because I was that and I was her, and that is a negative cycle to fall into. It was so similar, almost parallel to me, or for me when I was struggling with binging. It was like either I was in this cycle caught up with binge due to insecurity, or I was caught up in overtraining and undereating due to insecurity. Both of those are inefficient, and neither one of them is going to yield you what it is that you're looking for, that physical and mental transformation. And so the mindset that I kind of had to adopt really revolved around patience, remaining calm, even though there was so much chaos around you. And that, or the physique, really, that I was aiming for, and I know that a lot of people aim for, is the result of a calm, collected mind, a mind that can move through chaos as if there's nothing rattling it or, challenging you or threatening you or, nagging at you, right? You're going to face so many different things from life. You're going to get so many things thrown at you, and you're not going to know what to do. The most important thing is being able to remain calm no matter how chaotic it gets. And I'm not saying to hold your emotions back or not feel things, but I'm just saying to not let those emotions affect what needs to be done. Like, you can get angry, you can cry, you can feel all the things that need to be felt because that's how you let shit go and it doesn't build up, but don't make your decisions based off of those feelings. That's when it becomes an issue. So being able to feel things and be like, I'm okay, this hurts, this is stressful, this shit's chaotic, there's so much going on, rent's due, my car broke down, I gotta pay for this, I have to do this at work, I got to make this work. All those things, life will not stop. You will have to get better. So either you can sit there and complain about all those circumstances, or you can let those circumstances force you to level up and then be better at handling them and then get further and further, and not just your, personal and physical progression, but just overall improving your life because you're able to handle more. And when you can handle more, then you can achieve higher levels of success. And this is not just in fitness. This is just in life. Something that I talk about a lot is how embarking on the journey of transforming your physique will ultimately change your life, not because you pop out more confident, but because it teaches you the things necessary to achieve any goal. And there's really no downside to trying to improve your physique or to trying to physically transform. There is no downside because you look better. You are forced to go through mental trials and tribulations that will lead into more confidence at the end. And you'll be healthier. So there's really no argument. There's no loss in this at all, because although it may seem like a hassle or a drag, that hassle and that drag that you have to force yourself to go through is what ultimately leads you to mentally and physically transform. And so adopting that mindset or understanding that, I need to remain patient and not let my emotions drive my decisions, gave me a peace of mind among the chaos, right? It gave me a peace of mind on this journey, and it wasn't so stressful. And when I didn't feel so much chaos surrounding my physique and my image with myself and my relationship with food and the scale, when there wasn't so much chaos there, then it became something that I could sustain and I could adopt into my lifestyle because there wasn't so much noise with it. And so your main job is going to be learning how to control that noise. Because if I started this journey and I wanted to work out 6 days a week or 7 days a week and eat damn near nothing, and that caused a lot of noise, and I was never fucking satisfied. I was never satisfied. It was never enough. I was still insecure. It didn't work. And so I'm very big on the message that, half of this is a psychological battle, but everyone wants to focus on starving themselves to get abs. And you might get there. You might see some stomach definition or abdominal definition, but I promise you won't feel satisfied or fulfilled. Also, if you guys see anything in my nose, I'm wearing a nasal dilator. I don't have boogers. I've been trying to improve my sleep, so that is why that is in there, because I'm a notorious mouth breather because I struggle to get air in my nose. So I do this paired with a nose strip at night, and I also use this when I run. That's a new thing that I've been trying out. Side note, but I want you guys to know in case you can see it. I don't know if you can. So that is my take on the mindset of my lifestyle, and it's just getting better at handling stress. Like, the amount of things that I have going on right now that could stress me out if I let it would negatively affect my weight loss journey, because I have the behavioral pattern of feeling stress and wanting to binge and wanting to go off my nutrition plan and wanting to skip training and wanting to basically curl up in a ball and just succumb to the circumstances. But I've understood that, like, life is gonna life. Life happens. You can't stop it, and that's just a part of it. So you're gonna have to just be okay with things being difficult. So next up, we'll go into food. Now, a part of the whole food thing is, yes, you need to make sure that you eat to stimulate weight loss and or stimulate fat loss and also promote muscle growth. However, food is something that can also be used for psychological benefit as well. If we look at food too much into one direction, where we focus so much on it being a psychological aid, then that's when we lead into we form habits of binging, and we start to become overweight, and we deal with things like that, because then it starts to be seen as a dopamine hit. And then there's the other end of the spectrum where we purely look at food for what it can do for us nutritionally, which is a good way to look at it. However, one of the greatest joys in life is getting to eat food that tastes good and getting to eat, really good stuff. Now, I'm going to argue to say that you can eat really good food that is nutritionally dense and has a lot of micronutrients that are beneficial to your overall health. But I don't want to make you think that you have to be stuck in this box where you can't enjoy a candy bar or a donut or a fucking muffin. I don't even know, whatever you guys would consider something that would make you go off plan like that. But that's my main take on food. I generally stick to eating whatever I have planned for that day. So what my approach to food is planning out what I'm going to eat that day before that day actually comes. The same thing with what I'm doing with my work, what I'm doing as a coach, what I'm doing with my clients, what I'm doing with my training. There is a general outline or protocol in place as to what I'm probably going to eat that day. The only time that I really don't worry about what I'm going to eat is if I'm with friends, family, a special occasion, or anything like that. But I don't tend to stray from it when I'm just going about my daily life or my normal life, or I'm just by myself, because I want the food to be enjoyed in moments when I'm enjoying other things too. I don't want food to just be the focal point. So for majority of the time, I choose what I eat based on what I need to do so that I have better performance that day. I feel better. I perform better in whatever I'm training for, because I'm always training for different things usually. So whether it be running, half marathon, whatever, if I'm training if I'm on prep for a show or whatever else I decide to train for in the future, my food choices are a mix of what I enjoy eating and what I am training for, and how can I kind of combine those to make something that makes me feel good, look good, perform good, but also is a variety of something that I like. So I've learned with that approach that what I thought I liked, i.e. the junk food, the chips, the donuts, the cake, all that stuff, was being used as a dopamine hit, and that I like plenty of foods that are whole foods, nutrient dense, have really good nutritional factors about them, are really good sources of protein, carbs, fats. I like that food. The first, thing that I did that helped me understand that I actually do really enjoy whole foods was becoming better at cooking, right? How you prepare a meal will really determine how good you'll be able to adhere to your nutrition. Okay, if I had a sad bowl of sweet potatoes, chicken, whatever, or whatever, I don't know, stuff that you think that probably doesn't taste the best every night, then I probably wouldn't want to adhere to that. But when I make my diced potatoes with a Parmesan crust and some rosemary and a little bit of olive oil with my perfectly seasoned crispy chicken thighs, boneless, skinless, that, I mean, I crave that. And that's in my nutrition plan. Like, I crave the foods that I eat. I crave what I plan for myself so that I'm excited to eat and so that I eat things that I like. And also, these things happen to make me feel good. Because when you realize that what you eat directly correlates to how you feel, how you perform, all that kind of stuff, you will be very hesitant about what you put in your body. And I'm not saying that I don't enjoy a good donut every now and then, that I don't have an espresso martini, that I don't go and have a piece of cake, whatever. But I usually have those paired with a celebration or paired with a reason to indulge. That's separate from my sweet tooth, though. I fit my sweet tooth into my nutrition all the time. A Greek yogurt bowl with frozen fruit, some dark chocolate, a little bit of honey, hates to see me coming because I will eat it up. And that is something that I could have every single day if I wanted to. So just understanding those behavioral patterns about yourself, your sweet tooth, your savory tooth, what you like to eat, right? Trying to force yourself into a cookie cutter plan because you think that A, you're making it harder and that's how it's supposed to be, and B, so-and-so online said that that's what you should eat, that's just going to make you, that's going to make your plan inefficient. And when we are inefficient, we tend to get more frustrated. And when we pair that frustration with our lack of knowledge, that's when we tend to give up. That's when everyone starts to be like, this is too hard. It's causing burnout. I don't have time for this. So that is my take on food. As far as a more literal sense on what I do with my food, I implement carb cycling. Sometimes it's just two-tiered, so rest days and training days. Other days it's multiple tiers where it's high, low, medium. Sometimes it's low, medium, and then a high day. It really just depends on what I'm training for, how I'm feeling, the timeline that we're looking at, and what my goals are. Overall, though, I like carb cycling because it helps with your digestion. So if you're not giving yourself the same nutrients every single day, it gives your digestive system a break from having to process the same amount of nutrients every single day, day in and day out. It also achieves the same metabolic and psychological effects that you would get from a cheat meal, right? So instead of like programming a cheat meal, because I know myself, I know my psychological and my behavioral patterns. Instead of just programming myself a cheat meal, I'll program that day where I just get more of what I'm already eating because I choose the foods that I already like. So I don't need to have a cheat meal. But if a cheat meal is presented to me, like my friends say, oh, I want to go to dinner, or my family or my girlfriend or somebody, or there's an event happening, I say yes, because I practice this discipline in my daily life that when I do those things, number one, I'm able to enjoy them and I'm not in the back of my head, how many calories is this martini? I'm over here tracking the drinks I'm having in the bar, or I'm over here tracking what dinner is at the table and everyone's waiting for me to put my phone down so we can enjoy a meal. I don't have to do that because every single day I do what needs to be done to make myself progress. And so those days where I do go to a party, or I do go to an event, or I do something, or I go to an outing or an activity, it's not a big deal and it doesn't weigh on my mental because every single day I pay my dues. And so I get to enjoy things without having to worry that it's going to wreck my progress or my physique or whatever. The main thing with food is fueling for performance so that you can perform better. When you perform better, that's when you're going to have a better physique. When you understand how to fuel for performance while also making sure that you're reducing fat gain, you are golden. And then you practice that day in and day out. And then those little excursions that you go on, whether it be dinner or whatever, not a big fucking deal because you practice this discipline in your daily life. Next, we will look at my activity. Now, activity includes cardio and training. So with cardio, I do either a step goal, and then it also depends on what I'm training for. So a step goal, and then usually about 4 cardio sessions a week, sometimes less if I'm training for longer distances, sometimes more if I'm training for speed, or if I'm just doing cardio I enjoy. Currently, I'm doing 2 cycling classes and then 2 medium-ish runs, if not medium, a little bit lower, to do interval runs to increase my speed. As far as activity goes, I run a 4-day split, so I spend less than 6 hours a week in the gym, and that's another reason as to why I'm able to manage my health and live my life, because a part of managing your health is also managing your mental health, and if you're always in the gym and always stressed and always worried about this and that, you're not going to be able to actually enjoy your life. And so I spend less than 6 hours in the gym, and I don't get stressed about not doing enough or never being enough because I know what I'm doing is working. And so my split 4 days a week, it's basically lower, upper, full, and lower. So I'm working on developing my lower body right now because I want to be better outrunning. And so I want to make sure that I'm able to run on tired legs. And I also want to make sure that I'm increasing the strength in my legs and overall maintaining my mass so that I don't lose any size when I start endurance training. Next, I want to talk about indirect drivers. Now, I haven't really made a video on this just yet, but there are indirect and direct drivers for this entire journey, for building your dream physique, right? Usually we burn out and we get kind of stressed out because we focus on the direct drivers: protein, lifting, cardio. And when we focus on those three, they have to work insanely hard to get us results. Whereas when we focus on a blend of the indirect and the direct drivers, then we have a whole different multitude of things working towards that one goal that they all share amongst each other, so that we get there a lot faster and it's more efficient and it doesn't make us burn out in any of the ones separately. So if we focus too much on cardio, well, we're going to have to do 1,000,000 hours of cardio to get the results because we're not paying attention to what we eat. We're not paying attention to how we train. We're not paying attention to the sleep that we get. We're not paying attention to our water. We're just looking at cardio. And so when you look at one thing, it has to work way harder than when you look at all the things. So if we look at one thing, it has to do 100% effort to get to the goal. Whereas if we look at 5 different things, each thing will have to give 20% effort to get to the goal. And so there's less stress on that one factor. And so examples of direct drivers, like I said, are going to be protein, training, cardio for fat loss. Some of the indirect drivers are going to be carbs and fats. Those are indirectly things that we use to grow muscle because they give us the energy we need to push in the gym, leading to more muscle, and also helps with proper rest and recovery, which in the long run will yield more muscle growth. Getting enough sleep, making sure that we hit our sleep goals, and not just enough sleep, but making sure that we get quality sleep, because our muscles are restored when we get hours of deep sleep. You have to go through light sleep to get to deep sleep. And so if we just focus on getting that 8 hours, but it's 8 hours of light sleep, you're not going to be resting and recovering as efficiently as you could. Same thing with water, same thing with managing your environment, your stress, the people that you have around you. When you're in a high stress environment, that's going to slow you down in the long run, so you don't want to experience that. Like I said from the very beginning of this video, your mind being in a calm, relaxed state is what's going to help you make the best decisions when it comes to nutrition, training, your goals, what you really want. Whenever you live in a stressful environment, it tends to bring out things in you and make you make decisions that might not be the best choice. So those are some examples of direct and indirect drivers. I will make a separate video about this in the future, hopefully soon. Lastly, let's get into daily. So what are my daily non-negotiables that I consider staying disciplined so that when I do get presented with whatever opportunity to, have fun, relax, let loose, I can. Before I tell you what my daily or my non-negotiables are, I want to highlight this concept here. If we overindulge, those indulgences hold less value to us. And when we are over-disciplined, extremely disciplined, when we overwork ourselves, we get closer to experiencing burnout. And we lose the passion, we lose the drive, we lose the sense of fulfillment. My take on life is that you are walking the line constantly between those two things. I'm not telling you should never indulge, and I'm not telling you that every day you have to work 12 hours and you have to lift and eat nothing and overtrain and all that kind of stuff, because they're parallels to each other. So it's almost like two opposite sides of the spectrum. You overtrain, you undereat, you work so damn hard, or you overindulge, you never train, you're sedentary, you self-sabotage. Those two things are the opposite ends of the spectrum. Somewhere in the middle is the sweet spot. So being able to indulge when you want because you're disciplined 80% of the time, and you're indulging and enjoying yourself 20% of the time. If we always enjoyed ourselves and did whatever we wanted and always stayed comfortable, we wouldn't value that. We wouldn't value those special moments, those special meals. We wouldn't value food. We wouldn't value all that kind of stuff if we never had hard things. And life is really just a series of peaks and valleys, but we wouldn't appreciate the peaks if we never had to go through the valleys. So when you're just sitting there wishing that things were easy and you just wish that you could snap your fingers and have your dream physique, it's that desire right there for the comfort, the indulgence, the easiness, always wanting comfort. It's that that's killing you. It's that that's keeping you stuck. And understanding that within myself helped me sustain this journey for longer than 3 months, 6 months, whatever. It helped me form into the person that I wanted to become, and that's why maintaining this and living my life while maintaining my physique and being my most confident version of myself is possible, right? Because I used to run from the valleys. I used to always want to be at a peak, but when you're always at a peak, that peak becomes baseline, and so it's just like it doesn't feel as fulfilling and euphoric as it would had you had to go through a bunch of different valleys to reach that peak. And so just embrace the difficulty of the things that you know that you want. Embrace it. Let the goals that you want, whether they be physical, whether they be career, whether they be personal, whatever it is that you're trying to work for, embrace the difficulty. Embrace that it is hard. Because that, at the end of the day, although it may seem like something you don't want to go through, that's what's going to make it worth it. That is what's going to make hitting the peak or reaching your goal so much sweeter and ultimately make it feel fulfilling. And I hope that can also kind of give you a sense of comfort in knowing that when things are difficult and when things are tough, that there is like a peak coming or there is light at the end of the tunnel and that it is worth it. Because you'll look back on it and you will remember how it felt to be in that valley. And when you look at that and you're contrasting to the peak that you're currently feeling, that high that you're feeling, that euphoria that you're feeling because you showed up and you went through something difficult, it will make it feel all the more better, all the more fulfilling. And you'll grow a lot more from it when you're able to conceptualize that whole thing. But that's just a little anecdote I wanted to throw in there about how I kind of go about this, because this whole video is about my take on things and how I'm able to do what I do in the easiest way possible and how I can maintain a happy lifestyle while also maintaining my physique. Let's discuss my dailies or my non-negotiables. So we can go over here, and this is just a little bit of them laid out for you. So I already mentioned how I go about majority of my things, but my dailies are non-negotiables that I must do to make sure that I'm progressing and making my days count, because when we make our days count, that's how we reach our fucking goals. That's how we reach goals that are bigger than just these little instantly gratifying goals. We want to reach big goals, whether it be a complete transformation of your body, whether it be something related to your career or to your business or to your money or to yourself, personal development. It takes dedicated work day in and day out, but it's hard to know what to do and if you're progressing. And so things that I wrote down for myself to make sure that I do every single day, ensure that I'm progressing and ultimately not only contribute to my physical health, but also my mental health. So the first thing is going to be prioritizing sleep. I used to not sleep and not really care about sleep because I was always worried about working, improving my physique, training, getting better, that I didn't realize that in order to sustain my journey of getting better in self-development, I had to fuel. It's like trying to drive a car, but saying, I'm never going to stop for gas, right? So making sure that sleep is a priority. That's one thing that I have listed every single day that I have to put at the forefront and make sure that I allot the time for it and I allow myself to rest and relax. I allow myself to get into a calm, relaxed state and get ready to go to sleep so that I can have the best sleep possible. Next is going to be whatever activity goal I set. Currently, my activity goal is 20K steps because I'm doing my summer tread with you guys. So my 20K step goal is a non-negotiable. However, sometimes it can vary from 10K, 15K, whatever, or I could have some other kind of activity goal that's not centered around steps. But right now it is a 20K step goal. Next, I drew a sun, but that's supposed to depict AM and PM sunlight. Because recently I've noticed that's helped regulate my sleeping patterns by getting sunlight when I wake up and sunlight at night, so my body kind of knows when it's time to wake up, when it's time to go to bed. It also has helped tremendously with my mental health, and I just feel better basking in the sun. That could just be a personal thing, but I know for a fact that I have my clients doing the same thing. When they get AM and PM sunlight, their sleep improves, and they also pop out with a better mindset. So that's the third non-negotiable. Lastly is the fourth. I told you guys I plan out what I do nutrition-wise or what I plan to eat that day before I just wake up the next morning, because if I wake up and try to figure it out, I'm already starting behind because there's no plan. So planning what I'm going to eat and then eating those things, eating my favorite foods, foods that fuel me, foods that make me feel better, perform better, think better, just overall make me better. I will make sure that whatever plan I had set in place, I adhere to that. Usually it's not hard to adhere to it because I plan things for myself that I personally really enjoy eating. Um, and usually I try to incorporate things that target both my savory and my sweet tooth. By the way, those are the potatoes that I was talking about that are slightly crusted in Parmesan, rosemary, with the crispy chicken thighs. And I promise you guys, that shit was fire. It was delicious. And if you were eating that, I promise you, you'd probably be really, really close to your fitness goals, if not there already. Now, I know this is a whole deep dive in what I do every single day to do the things that I do. So I'm going to discuss a couple things that I do to outside of fitness to make sure that I'm progressing in all my other goals. So my goal with my YouTube channel, with coaching, with my Instagram, with my content is to create a community of encouragement, like-minded people, people that want to develop themselves physically and mentally. And so a part of that is doing daily non-negotiables that I set forth the night before that not only make me better, but also convey that message better. So whether it be understanding what I want to, the message that I want to convey in a YouTube video, or how I can become a better coach for my clients, or something along the lines of, how can I help people more? What can I say to make people more encouraged to start this journey, to summer shed with me, to let them know that I've been there, that that they can change, all that kind of stuff. That stuff is not as obvious for me to just be like, oh, I get enough sleep, X step goal, sunlight, whatever. That's more like the night before or the week before I will plan out, okay, this is what I'm going to work on this day, and then whatever that is, that's completed every day. So I break it down, whatever it is that I want to get better at. So creating that community where we are all here to become better, both mentally and physically, that breaking it down in steps, okay, how can I do that? And then breaking down the how can I do that into, okay, I'm going to break this down on, I'm going to have this, I'm going to create this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this with my message, I'm going to make a YouTube video about this. And then I'll start breaking it down onto a day-to-day basis. And that's how I create my non-negotiables. It's usually 3 things, 3 or less, because it takes a lot of time to do the tasks. And so that's what it looks like when I'm trying to achieve my personal goals or my coaching goals or whatever that, but that's a lot less literal. Like I can't really just throw that out there, because it changes on a day-to-day basis. And I'm always just constantly growing, right? But it's all centered around how I can help younger me, because that is the person that anyone is most suited to help, right? Your development is the perfect roadmap for someone who used to be where you are. And it's really fulfilling when I get on the phone calls with you guys, or I see your comments or your DMs, and I'm like, I know I can't go and help younger me, but it really feels like I'm helping her right now. And it's a full circle moment, and it's fulfilling, and that fulfillment that I feel is what contributes to how I can manage my health, also live my life. It makes me so damn happy to be able to do what I do, and I love it. And I'm so thankful for you guys. So that is how I manage my health while living life. I'm going to link the subscription button to my channel here somewhere on the screen if you want to join me on my shred. If you're trying to do this journey on your own, I have plenty of videos that will help you. I'll also link my most recent uploads, or one of the videos that's going to be recommended for you will be up there as well. If you want to work with me one-to-one to help you transform mentally and physically, I will leave the application in the description of this video. If you want to message me personally or anything of that nature, I will leave my Instagram link down below as well. Remember, guys, do hard shit, be confident, have the courage to be uncomfortable, but most importantly, do not forget that I am rooting for you. I love you guys, and I'm just so thankful for you guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching.